Hi, my name is Drew Lemons. As a child, I always felt like something was wrong with me. I was depressed, I was suicidal. On many occasions, I would hold a knife to my own chest and just wish that it could be over. On the outside, I would put on a happy face, but on the inside, I was hurting. I was diagnosed with depressive bipolar and an anxiety disorder. I would have anxiety seizures where my body would go completely numb and I would pass out. 4 years ago, I was living in Montana, and one day as I was reading the Bible, I was reading about where Paul went out into the wilderness for 3 years, and I felt like I could do some sort of journey like this. Along this journey, I met 3 different people that told me about Bethel and told me that I should stop. God had been supernatural providing for me this whole time. When I got to Bethel, the supernatural provision ran out. I had $1 to my name, and I put that dollar in the offering and told God that if He wanted me in Redding, I needed a place to live. 3 different people came to me that night and offered me a place to live. After I got to Redding, the depression and the bipolar got 10 times worse, to the point where I told God I was done with Him. I packed up my bags and I left for Alaska. Through some circumstances, I had to come back, and I decided I was going to go to one last Bethel service. As I was standing in worship that night, I had a vision, and in that vision, I was standing in a completely white room with 2 rows of people on each side of me. I got to the end of the row and I looked over and Jesus was standing next to me. He looked at me and He said, "It's time to choose, Drew. Do you choose me?" As He said that, I just blurted out, "I choose you, I choose you, I choose you." Next thing I knew, I was back in worship. The depression and the anxiety did not get better at that point, but I told God that I choose Him. And so no matter how hard it got, I was going to choose Him. Shortly after that, I joined a men's group where I was able to share some past hurts. I brought the darkness into the light, and God was able to bring healing there. About 3 months after that, I was at a Bethel service where Benny Johnson was preaching on hope. She brought a painting that just said hope on it. I went up and stood in front of this painting, and as I stood there, the Holy Spirit just fell on me, and I started laughing hysterically. That night, God gave me a new laugh, and I've laughed like that ever since. He gave me more joy than I know what to do with, and it felt like that storm cloud that had followed me around my entire life had lifted. I didn't know that I was healed right away, but as time went on, I realized that the joy just increased. It's been 2 years since that time, and I have not been depressed a day since. I've started doing art, and I've seen people healed through my art. I've seen people's lives transformed through my art. I have huge plans to use my art to transform the people's lives around me, and I can see that His joy is being made complete in me.